Mr. Edward Chia.
Mr. Speaker, sir, even though we are in a much better position than a year ago, some Singaporeans continue to be anxious about their jobs as global uncertainty continues. During my regular home visit discussions with residents at Zhenghua, as well as my meetings with industries, there are employers and employees who are even concerned if newly learned skill sets are adequate in view of continued disruptions and technological advancements. Some residents who are self-employed shared with me that their concerns from work from home now means work from anywhere, and clients are starting to offshore services. The competition for jobs and opportunities is no longer confined to a geographical boundary. We are undergoing significant transformation, and providing national clarity on what we are doing to emerge more competitive and relevant is essential. In my comments today, I will be supporting the motion that the government has doubled down on our focus on our workforce skills upgrading, job security, and this has enabled us to compete globally through strategic foreign trade agreements with greater confidence. The government has been reviewing and enhancing several core training schemes. For instance, the training support package and absentee payroll were enhanced. Over and above, that many other schemes such as professional conversion program, place and train program, etc. were put in place. These were introduced to help support individuals and employers with skills upgrading opportunities that are directly linked to job placements. A few years ago at the National Day rally, PM Lee announced that there will be a new tribunal for workplace discrimination and further enhancements of legislative powers for TAFEP in the Employment Act. This is such an important step to ensure fairness in the workplace when it comes to hiring, another key component in enhancing our workers' job security. Employers and employees will now be assured that the government takes this issue very seriously. In the spirit of continuous review and resolving the issues from all angles and addressing concerns upstream, I'd like to suggest 3 more areas. The intent of these suggestions is to keep our people in jobs, create opportunities for progressions, and by doing so, we reduce the probability of displacements, which creates greater distress for Singaporeans and considering more resources for assistance. This approach is more sustainable for the government, employers, and employees. The first is to provide a degree of longevity for those schemes that were enhanced last year, thereby giving our workers and employers confidence that the government understands that their transition will take time. This level of commitment will translate well to the enterprise level, and workers will have assurance that help will not be pulled back too soon. So I am pleased to hear earlier from Minister Lawrence Wong that MOF is considering this. If the government could explore the possibility of committing to a 5-year period for these newer schemes, it would be helpful. Building on that is my second proposal. I'd like to suggest that existing government schemes that support local employers to appoint consultancies, especially for business transformation, require the consultant to include relevant training for the employees in support of the identified strategies. By ensuring direct connectivity between employers' transformation and their employees' upskilling rather than 2 separate activities, it maximizes the return on investments for our grant schemes. There will be many details that need to be sorted out to make this happen, but I believe it would have significant impact on how our workforce can see their training directly linked to their employer's strategic direction. My final proposal is to recommend mandatory training hours per year and to couple it with enhanced absentee payroll support to assist employers and employees with resources to continue to stay ahead of the disruption curve. This will reiterate and complement government's existing ongoing Skills Future initiatives, ensuring our workforce is future-ready through upskilling and reskilling. With such comprehensive suite of measures from skills investments to enhance employer support and deeper legislative power to reduce workplace discrimination, we can keep our borders open with confidence. To further mitigate the downsides of disruptions and work from anywhere phenomenon, we need to grow and anchor jobs in Singapore. To do so, we need to grow and entrench employers. Being open and connected is critical for Singapore's competitiveness because many of our employers can only succeed if Singapore is strategically plugged into the global flow of trade, investments, and people. Our free trade agreements are purposely crafted and executed to ensure that our employers and our workers benefit from such connectivity. It allows employers to have access to overseas markets for their products and services, and it allows for our employers to also source for skills and technologies to accelerate their capabilities. The benefits of these agreements ensure that Singapore, with our employers and our workers, are relevant in the global movement of economic activities, which leads to value creation back home. It is therefore highly disingenuous for the PSP to simply focus on one or two components of a single FTA to create unnecessary anxieties, especially when it has been addressed in Parliament. Hence, I completely disagree and not in support of the motion standing in the name of Mr. Leong Man Wai. This is not about either the big picture or the small picture, but it is about the real and practical picture of how our workers make a living by Singapore remaining open to the world, because we have been strengthening ourselves. Let me share an example. Tunity Technology, which is a homegrown employer in the business of RFID technology. This employer benefited from many MNCs in Singapore during their inception. Through winning business contracts that enabled them to deepen their R&D from the revenue opportunities. In the words of Ms. Lim Pek Hui, Managing Director of Tunity, and I quote, "Tunity is chosen by MNCs facing the most challenging and complex RFID projects. Some of the MNCs include ExxonMobil, Carton Nate, NEC, and we are currently working with some Chinese MNCs like Yonyo for collaboration. Such collaborations allows Tunity to develop more IPs to serve them and their clients, which in turn strengthen our expertise, experience, and capabilities. Some of the collaborations bring Tunity solutions beyond Singapore, which by ourselves would not have been made possible. This has helped us grow over the past 18 years." End quote. Tunity exemplifies actually what Professor Hoon shared earlier on the need for SMEs to evolve from technology imitation to technology innovation, and how staying open has enabled SMEs to do so. In addition, Tunity has grown with their employees, done notable national projects such as the National Gallery and National Heritage Board's inventory tracking systems, built intellectual property, and recently secured another huge contract from another MNC in the pharmaceutical industry. Moreover, they have worked closely with IMDA under the company-led training program to provide upskilling, training, and employment to mature PMEs. This example of Tunity truly illustrates how participating in the global economy has helped them grow. And as Tunity grew, they contributed further to our economy and society, hired local PMEs, creating a positive virtuous cycle. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government has clearly done a lot for worker training to provide the skills to be relevant. Recent efforts to go further and enhance its powers to tackle workplace discrimination will go on an even longer way in easing our workers' minds on job securities. This multi-pronged approach is so important that we can keep our borders open with confidence, because our workforce is continually being prepared, ready, and relevant. Singapore cannot live in fear of how the world is changing. There are movements which focus only on the downsides of globalization, and I believe this is not a healthy conversation. There will always be challenges, and we must be sensitive to them. we should focus on how to mitigate these concerns by regularly evolving our systems, structures, and policies to enable our workforce to compete confidently. This is the best way to create more jobs, enhance wages, and ensure our continued relevance in the global community. Therefore, I rise in support of the motion standing in the name of the Minister of Finance. Thank you.